What's going on, everybody? It is the FF Mediators, and I am joined by Coach. My name's Matt, and today we're going to walk through the Bijan Panic Meter. We're going to see what we think about Bijan, what we're doing with him on our Dynasty teams, and kind of walk through his production thus far this season. So, Coach, I know you're a big Bijan believer. Do you have concerns? Are you going to stay the course? What are we thinking?
I mean, overall, I do have concerns on Bijan. Bijan has been the definition of average. I mean, Bijan is 16th in carries. He's 16th in yards for running backs in the league this season. He's 12th in targets. I mean, you're starting to get a little bit concerned that he really is just an average running back. Now, granted, he's getting 2/3 of the carries. You just would hope for a little bit more production. I mean, the guys, especially considering what everybody paid for him, like if Bijan is on your team, you paid a good price for that to happen. And he's really been no more than average. I do see a lot of room for improvement. So there is that. It could be a chance to buy low here with Bijan. I certainly wouldn't sell low right now because you might not get the return you deserve. But there is a little bit of concern for sure.
Yeah, the Falcons' offense didn't start the season great. It's been improving every week. They currently rank 10th in yards per game. So it's improving, like I said. Kirk Cousins is getting more and more comfortable every single week. As far as goes for Bijan, though, he started the year at almost 90% of the snaps. And the last 2 weeks, he's just at 64% and 67%. So only playing two-thirds of the snaps, it's a little bit concerning for me just because of the commitment to Algier can't be denied. Not that they're using him as a bell cow, but they're just involving him in the offense. And I don't think the recipe for Bijan's success is only having 12 carries and 7 carries like he's had in the last 2 weeks, respectively. So I'm a little bit concerned. I think, like you said, we crowned him as this dynasty premium asset, and he's not really paying off that price at this current point of the season. That doesn't mean it can't happen because, like I said, the offense is improving, and if he can get in the end zone, that would change a lot of things because he only has one touchdown on the year.
Yeah, I mean, getting in the end zone is key, but it's hard to do when Algier gets put in there every time they get near the goal line. Um, Now, I will say, I mean, there's certainly room for improvement. Um, the biggest concern, though, is that he's just being very average with the carries that he is getting and the opportunities that he is getting. I mean, 4.3 yards per carry is just sitting right there, kind of in the middle of the pack between 12 and 17, which is kind of where he is on everything, except for fantasy points, and he's 19th. And that kind of comes back to not getting in the end zone, like you said.
Yeah. So, and if the offense can continue to progress and move the ball down the field, one would think more opportunities for Bijan to try and get in the end zone. I mean, the passing work on the season, he's been okay at it. He's got several games where he's averaging over 10 yards a catch. That's something we want to see. He's got multiple games with 5 catches, multiple games with the most targets out of the running back position. So that's good to see. But I do just have concerns. And like you said, if you're going to sell him right now, it feels like you're selling him at a discount. And I don't really want to do that. So I might be holding until I can get a better game out of him and try and capitalize on the name value, but I'm certainly not just moving him because of the struggles he's had.
Yeah, he does produce when he catches the ball out of the backfield. Like you said, the thing is, he doesn't get a lot of targets. Like, who would have thought that Javante Williams would have more targets out of the backfield than Bijan Robinson? Now, Bijan's got more yards than him on the season, but at the same time, like, I just think he needs to get more targets. Like, he is productive when he's catching the ball out of the backfield and doing things that way. And to me, that's somewhere that I think as the offense gets better, that is a way that I look for him to produce and really help. It can really help his fantasy stats as a whole.
Yeah, I would hope that Bijan can get around 20 opportunities a game just with how athletic he is and the playmaker that he can be in space. I want him to have the ball as much as possible. Obviously, we're not the ones calling the plays, but is part of this because of the success of the other playmakers in the offense? And I should say other playmaker, just because Darnell Mooney has looked really good. He's been involved and he's been a kind of safety blanket for Kirk Cousins almost.
He has, and we saw last week a Drake London resurgence too. Like, he looked really, really good. and the better he looks. Of course, now you could say that may open up more room for Bijan, but at the same time, there's only so many targets to go around.
Yeah, and hopefully it does open up room for him. Right now I think his dynasty value is somewhere around two first. I don't know if you're going to get that for him unless you can find a Bijan believer in your league. You know, let's say Tyler's in your league, you might get him to pay that, but I'm not paying two first. Would you pay two first, coach?
Absolutely not. And I would take two firsts right now if somebody wanted to give them to me for Bijan. I just don't think you're going to get that. I mean, I would pay a first, one single first, but probably not two. No.
Yeah. So would you put Bijan kind of in the hold category for you right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna hang on the Bijan and just hope it gets a little bit better. Um, Now, I'll say if I don't have Bijan, now might be the chance where you throw a first out there and see if you can get him and see what happens. Like, I mean, I think that he's really worth that.
Yeah, because it does feel like there's a lot of panic going around among dynasty managers in the community right now. Just if you're scrolling through X, you see a lot of people all over the place. Should I sell? Should I buy? Are they panicking? Lots of content out there about what to do with Bijan. So I do think it could be a buy window if you could find the right league where someone's willing to, just take a first. Because is it worth a shot there? I think so. I mean, he's not going to kill you, like you said. Worst case, he's an average running back. And would you rather
Mhm.
have Bijan or Alvin Kamara?
Well, in redraft, I'd probably rather have Alvin Kamara. I mean, that's just the truth. In Dynasty, Bijan.
Yeah,
But I mean, that's just is what it is.
yeah. Would you rather have Bijan or James or excuse me, Josh Jacobs?
Whew. See, that's a close one for me. They're pretty similar. They're very, mid-tier running backs. In Dynasty, I'm still gonna hang in Bijan, but
Hmm.
I mean, that's just me.
Me too. So, would you be interesting in tearing off Bijan for one of those names right now if you could get, say, a first on top of them?
Absolutely. I mean, if I could get a first on top of that, like if I could get Jacobson a first for Bijan, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
And I don't think that trade's, you know, far fetched. I think there's a world
Mhm.
where you might even be able to capitalize on the name value and get a little bit more. But like I said, it's going to just depend on who you're dealing with and whether they're going to look past the market or kind of take into account how he's done this season because there's no way around it. I mean, like you said, it's been a little bit of a disappointment, but certainly he can turn it around. He's RB 21 on the season in half PPR, 19 in full PPR, and I expect that to get better.
Yeah, like I think there's room for it to get better, but don't be surprised if he finishes the year between 10 and 15. Because I mean, I just kind of think that's where he's at right now. So I mean, don't look for some massive jump, but I do think he will improve overall if he just by getting in end zone a few more times.
Completely agree. I mean, if he starts scoring some touchdowns, goes on a run for the next few weeks, we're going to see that ranking shoot up, those points per game shoot up, and that's what we want. And he's got the athleticism to do it. It just takes one play for a guy like that.
Yeah, I mean, is he a guy that can help you? Absolutely. But at the same time, is he going to ever be worth that 101 where he was drafted in Dynasty in most cases? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, it's going to have to be a major swing, and it doesn't really look like that's going to happen yet. But
Yeah.
I think that's going to do it for us, everybody. Our opinion is hold Bijan right now. If you can get an overpay, then we're fine with doing that. Or if you can get an underpay, you can do that too. But for the most part, we're just going to hold and stick it out and see what happens with Bijan this year. Be sure to follow us on X at the FF Mediators and subscribe to our YouTube. You can catch us live every Wednesday at 8:30 on the Face Off Sports Network and on our channels. And as well, you can catch us at halftime of the Thursday night game on X. We've got a space over there. So feel free to join us. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on Bijan, and we will talk to you then.